Welcome to Neighborhood Update. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. It is also often observed for celebrating African American culture. Originating in Galveston, Texas, it has been celebrated annually on June 19th in various parts of the United States since 1865. In Massachusetts, Governor Baker established Juneteenth as a state holiday in July of 2020. The first celebrations were held in 2021, and the city of New Bedford did the same by proclamation, making June 19th the newest city holiday. Traditionally, across the country, the focus on the day is cultural activities and economic stimulation through support of Black-owned businesses. With me today to talk about Juneteenth and supporting Black business development and more is a phenomenal young woman, owner and founder of the nonprofit Buy Black NB. Good morning, Justina.
Good morning, Marci. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for accepting the invitation. So let's get right to it. Last year, 2021, you held your first Buy Black NB event, right, which was part of the city's Juneteenth celebration. I attended that event at the Roach Jones Stuff House, and it was phenomenal.
Thank you.
It really was phenomenal, well attended. There had to be over 600 or more people there. Yeah. And it was just, well, the Gardens is, RJD is a beautiful backdrop for any event. But it was especially nice for that type of event because given the beautiful rose gardens, it almost gave you the feeling that you were down south. It was a beautiful day. You were in, the outfit that you were wearing was traditional. It had a cultural flair to it, and it was just a great event. So that was the first kickoff for Buy Black NB. Is that correct?
That's right. That was the first time we did really an in-person celebration, and it was the start of vendor pop-up market programming. So after that reception, we had a great turnout, as you mentioned. The vendors were, okay, what's next? When can we sell again? They did really well. And people were looking for, how can I connect with that business again? Many of the businesses are online, as we know. So so we continued. Once we were able to get grant funding, we continued through the summer, through the fall. We had winter vendor markets, so we've been doing year-round vendor markets, and we were able to recreate that in different towns. We've done the vendor market in Fall River, in Dartmouth. So yes, it's so beautiful in June with the roses in bloom, and we're really excited to go back to RJD. And we wondered, can we recreate this in another space? Will it feel as special, as celebratory? And it has. So that's really cool. And so now today makes 2 years. It was 2 years ago that I started up the Instagram page and the Facebook page, just categorizing businesses. So it went from a directory to now we have events and programs. But yeah, we're two years old.
Awesome.
Still
well,
pretty
congrats on that. What a great, wonderful, important resource.
Thank you.
And idea. And so let's talk about that. How did you come to create, this is a nonprofit, correct?
We are fiscally sponsored by the nonprofit One South Coast Chamber. So we're a program of the chamber, but we function as a nonprofit, and as we are new and forming, that's kind of the structure that we have so far.
So how did this come to be? How and why now?
Yeah, so if you can remember where the country was at, where our community was at 2 years ago at the start of June of 2020, there was organizing happening, there was an uprising, and I wasn't able to protest at the time, and I wanted to. I was laid off. I was on furlough. Remember, we were at the height of a pandemic, so I noticed that we did not have a Black business directory, which many communities do. I know that when I've traveled in the past and gone to like different parts of the country, there are Black business directories, like in big cities. Mm-hmm. And so just as a way to support where I live, I started making this list of Black businesses, and a lot of people were helping me online, giving suggestions like, oh, have you thought of this one? We started just in New Bedford. It really quickly came to include all towns within South Coast, so that was our territory, kind of our region is the South Coast region. So it started as a list online, mm-hmm. and then with volunteer support, we were able to create a website. Mm-hmm. And I remember that summer of 2020, we were up to 75 businesses, which felt huge. Like, I didn't even know, and I've lived here forever. Like, I did not know that we had that many Black-owned businesses, but just through people helping me to discover them and having the categories, it was pretty cool to see that. And now we're about 200 Black-owned businesses. Wow. that we've highlighted. We do free promotions. It's kind of like a free marketing service, really, for Black-owned businesses throughout the community, and then a way for customers who want to be more inclusive about their spending to be able to find that. And it's just really easy. It's free, super accessible online, to just, okay, I want to hire a plumber. Who do we have on the Buy Black NB directory? So it kind of started like that. We've done a lot since then. We have a blog where we've highlighted and told stories about the businesses. Mm-hmm. So we've hired interns to do that through a grant through the United Way. Mm-hmm. And we did our Her Story series, which we've just concluded. Yes. That was a 10-part series, mm-hmm. and we highlighted over 35 Black women in business. So it's grown to be more than an online directory, but that's kind of like the foundation of what Buy Black NB is. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing more things, and that was kind of how it started.
Well, you are so right about that, in terms of, that was really quite amazing to me. I think that typically when we think of Black-owned businesses, you think of the traditional types of businesses that we typically see in our own communities. You think of, barbershops, you think of mm-hmm. Clothing shops, but mm-hmm. there was so much more at that event. In fact, the jacket that I wore to the studio today was purchased by a company called Fogo, for Our God Only, which is a company originating from Cabo Verde. Mm-hmm. And there were just so many products. And you're right, we would not know that these businesses exist, because Black-owned businesses have their own struggles, limited resources, and may not have the capital to engage in promotion and marketing that other businesses might be. Yeah. Have those resources for. So what a wonderful resource it is.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I think part of what we've seen more recently too, after year one, just having this network, which really did not exist. There are lots of business networking groups within the South Coast, but they're primarily the people who are included, who feel welcomed, who feel like they belong, are white people. So we've kind of created this separate networking group, and now through the vendor markets, through just this community that we've built, we see a lot of the Black business owners partnering, working together, and now we have this Black business kind of alliance that's forming, which is really powerful and important. When you're running a business, it can feel kind of isolating when you're not part of a corporation. So now we've started to form something like that, and I kind of see how that's really important for new businesses, for those who are really established, who want to maybe connect with some of the newer businesses in that way, and forming mentorship or learning new skills. So that's been a really cool thing that I didn't know was going to happen, but seeing that as part of what's come out of the events is really cool too.
Right. And survival of a business it's everything. We saw through the COVID pandemic how there are a lot of businesses, small businesses, that were not able to survive. So you have another event that will be coming up on June 19th as part of the June 19th festivities. One thing that I observed that I thought was so great in the organizing of last year's event, you had a city trolley, which was connecting your event to other city events that were going on. Is the same type of thing going to happen this year? Will there be multiple events?
You know, we've had a few questions about that. People were interested to know if there's going to be a shuttle to bring folks through the downtown area, through the city, to participate in other events. But so far, I haven't learned of any other events happening on Juneteenth. I know there's some plans to host on the Saturday, the day before Juneteenth, so that would be June 18th. There will be some other Juneteenth programming. But as far as I know, there's nothing else that we can connect to. But if there's something that I'm missing, reach out to me, info@buyblacknb.com, and I would be happy to get that going. If we can have the shuttle again, I think that's a fun way to just like make it a whole day. And so you come to New Bedford, and there's a lot going on.
And speaking of reaching out to you, what is the best way to reach out to you? Because I know millennials, they have their own way of communicating. So what is your preferred way of communicating?
I'm pretty good on email. So it's info@buyblacknb.com.
Okay.
You can also reach us through Instagram, through Facebook. All of those ways are fine too.
All of the social engines.
All the socials.
Awesome. So at your events, we talked about the various types of vendors, but there's also other engagement and activities that are going on. There seems to be a focus on youth and engaging youth. Well, actually, you have something for the whole family, which seems to be the focus. So is there anything different coming up this year?
Yes. Well, the new different thing that we're going to have is to make something special for dads, because Juneteenth is on Father's Day this year. So we don't want people to feel torn, like we can't go to Juneteenth because we have to celebrate Father's Day. This is something that you can bring your dad to, bring your grandfather to, make it so we're offering massages for dads.
Oh, that's
awesome. We've hired a licensed massage therapist, and she'll be offering massages just to make it something special for dads to come out and feel like they can celebrate both holidays.
What a great idea. Dads, if you're watching, or moms, what a great gift. I can just picture these men on a beautiful day, the lovely roses and the backdrop, and they're getting a massage.
Yes.
Doesn't get any better than that.
And we'll have kids' activities too. So we've hired Doodles Creative Sessions, and they'll be providing just activities on the lawn, and the kiddos really loved that before too.
Great. So you cover all of, what is your territory for By Black NB?
Our territory is what would be considered the south coast of Massachusetts. So, but that also includes 2 towns in Rhode Island. So we have Tiverton and Little Compton. However, I'm not aware of any Black-owned businesses in those towns. There are some towns that span from Swansea to Wareham that, as far as we know, don't have any Black-owned businesses. But that's our territory. So, so all of those south coast towns. The heart of the Black business community is in New Bedford. You've got quite a few in Fall River, but most of them are in New Bedford. Some that we know about in Wareham. But if you're living in one of the South Coast towns and you want to find out if there's a Black-owned business in your town, then we have that. We actually have an interactive map on our website, so people can kind of find it that way.
So is there engagement with these businesses on a regular basis? Do they kind of update you on changes with their businesses? Is it interactive?
Yeah, so we would like to say that this directory is frequently updated. So what we do is like once a month, if there are changes to any businesses or new ones that have submitted, so that's how people can get listed as they submit their information, then we update it that way. So it's updated monthly.
Aside from the Juneteenth event, are there other events that will be going on in other locations throughout the year?
Yes. So Juneteenth is going to be 10 to 3 at Roach Jones Duff House, and that's the Sunday. And a few weeks later, we're going to be hosting what we're calling the Dream Makers Market. So this is a start of a new series. Juneteenth is part of our Black in Business series. But the Dream Makers Market is going to be hosting, I'm getting excited, talking about our youth vendor market. So we're going to have youth ages 12 to 18.
Really?
Yes, who are selling and creating their own products. And we've partnered with our sister school and Junior Achievement on that. So these are students who already have a passion, who have an idea, who just need a place to sell.
That's
and really
amazing.
Yeah, so
that is really amazing.
It's going to be so cool. We have some of our very experienced vendors who tend to participate in all of our markets. They're offering support as mentors for preparation and for day of support. So we want them to be really successful. We want people to show up for them and to see what these young people are creating and selling. I think it's going to be really cool. So with that theme, we're also making it's a whole evening of family programming. We have family yoga. We have the Encanto characters, the cast of Encanto for photos. We'll have face painting. We have a drum circle.
Awesome.
And a storyteller. So, and then other things that people can come and just kind of do at their leisure, but it's going to be a full schedule of family programming, music. It's going to be what we do, but we really want to include youth vendors and kind of supporting that entrepreneurship and giving them that to look forward to.
You know, that is so interesting. I have in my library at home, and I remember sharing that with my children. It's a book called Black Inventors from A to Z.
Oh, cool.
And it's, you know, it goes through just so many inventions that we all use every day, like luggage and with wheels. So many things that most young people and adults would not know that these products were invented by Black people.
Yes.
And so to do this type of programming with young people and to kind of get those minds thinking creatively like that is just a wonderful thing to do. Because for me, I am the mother of millennials, just as your mom is, and I think that millennials are pretty phenomenal. I enjoy the conversation, engaging with them, because you have a different way of thinking, you have a different way of working, connecting, and living, and I learn from you, as I know you all have learned from us. And the thing that I admire most about the millennial generation is that you all are blazing your own trail. You're creating your own opportunities, and that's the American way. That's the way we began, with developing small businesses that became major corporations. You are not using the brick and mortar. You're doing these businesses online, and it's been phenomenal for many young men and women, what they're doing. So to promote that is it's just an awesome thing to do. So I applaud you, for that.
Thank you. Yeah, we want young people to feel like this is within reach. I know I never thought, I thought owning your own business would just be too risky, you know. But when I think back to a time when I was a little bit of an entrepreneur was at our church bazaar. So I went to OLOA church, and you could rent out a table, like a booth, around the holidays to sell products. And so I did that with a couple of my friends, and with the support of our parents, we created our own product. We sold it, and the parishioners really loved supporting youth, I think. So we sold a lot of these they were little piggy houses, and we wrote the names of family members on it. I know, like, my grandmother still has it on her fridge. So it was something that stood the test of time, a product that we created. But what stood out to me is that it was the first time as like a 10-year-old I had money. I could buy my family presents on Christmas that year, and I would go around to all the little shops at the bazaar, and so I hope that there's something like significant that comes out of that for the youth. And I remember like that was a really fond memory for me.
So that was the start of your entrepreneurial
It could be
spirit?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
You never know. You never know. So you have multiple titles. You are a mom, you are a wife, you are Dr. Perry, I might add, an entrepreneur. And how do you balance it, and how are you doing all of this? Do you have a team working with you on Buy Black and Be?
Yes, I could not do Buy Black and Be without the support of volunteers. It's completely volunteer driven. So behind the scenes, we have people who are supporting with websites, with event planning, volunteers during the event. That's really important. We can always use more volunteers who are sharing their expertise and their time and their skills. But at home, I have a very supportive team. I couldn't do this without my husband and my mom and my family and friends who are encouraging and rooting for this. But yeah, it's completely like support at home, because we try to balance all that.
Gotta have that. When your foundation, when your home is solid, you can fly.
Right.
That's my feeling.
That's right.
So what's in the future for Buy Black and Be? What is your long-term vision? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I struggle with that a little bit. I think sometimes I'm so focused in the business that I have a hard time figuring out, like, okay, next year and 2 years from now, but we're still so new. I want to plant roots here and make sure they're really deep before we spread out and do a bunch of things. We are planning with E for All of South Coast. We're planning a pitch black contest for the fall, so that'll be something new for us.
Pitch black? What is that?
It's going to be one of their accelerators. So E for All hosts accelerators throughout the year. Sorry, not accelerators. It's a pitch contest. So people with new business ideas can pitch their idea. They can win money. It's a contest. So for new businesses to participate. So that'll be something new for us.
And so it would provide the opportunity. Some of them could actually receive funding to launch. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Buy Black and Be participated in that in July of 2020. So that was some of our first seed money to get going. So we,
awesome.
Yeah. So we participated in a pitch contest with E for All, and it was very energizing. And I hope that we can reach even more new businesses to participate in that.
Well, I am a supporter of small businesses. I love
Marci.
shopping small. And so I would love to see our downtown continue to grow and thrive with the development of small businesses. So very excited about what you're doing, and we're almost out of time. I just wish you tremendous success with this. We could do another half hour on this.
Thank you.
So we're going to have you come back in the
happy
future with more events. And I think that Dream Makers, we might even make another show out of that.
We're adding more collaborations and partnerships for that. So the schedule may continue to grow, and there'll be more things that people can look forward to. So I'll be happy to update you.
How are you measuring your success with Buy Black and Be?
Well, We do track what the revenue is from the vendors who participate in the markets. So that's really important. What the sales are like. And we also get survey feedback from participants who sell, and then customers who show up to the market. So that helps us to kind of curate even better. So like there was a market that we did where we had accepted vendors who were selling similar products. And we learned from that because in general we want to avoid competition with the vendors, and we want consumers to have the best experience and not be seeing like three products that are, three tables that are selling the same thing.
Not like a flea market.
Yeah, so it's actually, it takes time to make sure that we have things that are trending, things that people are gonna like, and we have to put some people on the waiting list because of that. But you asked how we're tracking our progress. I would say those are our trackers. We are looking to get more grant funding that would support our operations, and that would just take us to the next level.
If a business has been a part of your events, does that guarantee or ensure that they can always be a participant, or is there a certain number of vendors? Is there a limit?
Yeah, so we do a mini market, and I should mention we have one coming up on June 11th. We have a mini market. It's going to be at West Beach in New Bedford.
Oh, great location. Another great location.
By the Beach Mini Market. It's part of the 20 MI2 weekend, so we'll be there June 11th starting at noon. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's a mini market, so it's a smaller amount of vendors. But it's kind of first come, first serve. So we try to give priority to local businesses within the South Coast community, but we have interest from people from out of state who hear that we do a good market and want to apply. And we try to give preference to businesses who will share what we're doing. You have to be active in promoting the event. You have to be active online, really, to get the word out. You have to be willing to email your network. So so people who are really involved that way. But some people who have never vended before, we've taken a chance and invited them, and they do amazingly well. So so you can absolutely repeat, and sometimes the people who sign up first, they do every market. So
I am watching my monitor and getting the signal that we are out of time.
Sure.
So we're going to have to wrap it up. But again, thank you so much.
You're
much
welcome.
Continued success to you, Justina.
I appreciate it.
I just think you are a phenomenal young woman, and look forward to further growth of this business.
Thanks, Marci. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And thank you, and make sure that you head to Roach Jones Duff House on June 19th for another amazing event by Buy Black and Be. Thank you for watching. See you next time on Neighborhood Update.